Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business or your life to the next level. So today I'm going to speak with Heidi Schalk, and let me tell you a little bit about Heidi. She is a business strategy and leadership coach, an author, speaker, and host of the Be S.H.E, and that is B-S-H-E podcast, Be Seen, Be Heard, Be Empowered. She is a contributing author in Hard Talks Volume 1, and has been featured on Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, and the Daily Herald. Heidi has been named one of Teresa's 30 most inspiring women to look out for in 2024. She spent the past 5 years helping women achieve their goals, build online businesses they love. She learned along her journey that it's not easy to build a business from scratch, but it can be simple and fun. So today we're going to talk about entrepreneurship. You know, I love to help all of the entrepreneurs out there, but especially all we female entrepreneurs. So please join me in welcoming my guest for today, Heidi Schalk. Heidi, so
Thank
happy
you,
to have you
Vicki.
on.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. And I'm excited and thrilled to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me on your amazing show.
Very good. I'm just excited about this topic. I know that you're going to bring a lot of richness to the discussion. My goal is always to help female entrepreneurs understand who can help them, that they're not alone on this island, that they should always reach out. You know, we are terrible at self-care and so and sometimes self-sabotage ourselves by not asking for help. So this is my giving you permission to ask for help, and this is a great person to reach out to. So before we get started in the hard questions, I would love for you to tell everybody where you live.
I live in South Florida. I'm one of the few South Florida natives. I was born in Miami and now I reside in Wellington. And if you don't know where Wellington is, I'm just outside of West Palm Beach. So Palm Beach County, Florida.
Yes, awesome. I have cousins that live in West Palm and Jupiter. And I'm going to be speaking in Miami in October. So
that's so exciting.
So what has your journey been like? I always like to start with this question to have people realize that you didn't start, you know, from the very first day you opened your business, everything was wonderful. You were making millions of dollars and everything was easy peasy. So talk to us about the journey that really informed you, inspired you to start your own business, and how has that gone over the years?
It definitely has not been easy peasy. And I love your mission here on this podcast, because when I first started my business, it started from necessity, not necessarily this passion, because now it's passion, but it started from necessity when I first started because I was moving through divorce. And prior to my divorce, I had been a stay-at-home mom. And so I was very active in my child's life. I was home with them. I took them to school. I was room mom for them at their school. I was co-chair of the auction committee for a couple of years. So I was heavily involved and always with them. So now our world was changing and shifting, and I needed to find a way to navigate that as well as bring an income for my family. So I started working 2 jobs when I found coaching online. And I jumped into this coaching program, way more expensive than I really could afford, but it's They made it sound so easy, Vicki. Like, you know, you're going to come on and everybody made it. They showed all the best of the best on social media, right? I think more people are showing up more authentically, being more open and vulnerable about their journeys. But at that time, it just showed up. It just looked like it's so easy to do this. You
Give
know, you
us your money.
open your
Well,
doors and they will come, right?
yeah.
What I didn't realize is that I had a huge fear of being seen. So that's
Mhm.
really challenging when you want to build a business, whether you're brick and mortar or whether you're online, but especially online. I wasn't a big social media fan. I didn't post much. So this was a big sticking point for me when I first started. But that being said, I'll be transparent and honest. I started my business more in the in the health and wellness space. I wasn't a business strategy coach. I didn't know anything about business. So I started in health and wellness because their coaching was do what you know. Well, wasn't passionate about it, but I did know it because I came from personal training background and competing in doing competitions. But it had been so long since I had been in that market that when I came online, they were talking about gut health and keto and vegan and all
Yes.
these different things. I'm like, I don't know any of this, nor do I have the passion to learn it.
Yeah.
So I actually stepped away from my business, not because of that, but because my children were navigating so much too. We were moving through different transitions, coming through the divorce. I was working the 2 jobs and I hit burnout. So my children were getting the worst of me and they were going into new schools. My son was diagnosed with ADHD. I was getting phone calls from the school and I was rinsing and repeating the chaos day in and day out till I couldn't do it anymore. And something had to give. So I said, you know what? I get to step away from this. It's not forever, but I get to step away right now. So I continued working the 2 jobs, got my life to where it needed to be. And then the entrepreneurship bug, you know, Vicki, you know it doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Some people don't understand it. Most of the time they're our closest people, but it's not something that we can walk away from. So I
Yeah.
did come back. And I came back in the personal development space because during this time I had done a lot of work on myself and I had learned a lot about myself and I was passionate about helping women navigate that journey as well. And then as my clients evolved, I evolved and they wanted to start building businesses. And that's how my journey unfolded.
Awesome. Couple of things there. The one thing that I think a lot of the audience needs to just remind themselves, if they don't already know, but being a stay-at-home mom is probably the best business teacher you can think of because of all the things that you have to do, time management and juggling different tasks at multitasking, which being able to be a health and wellness advocate for your children as well as for yourself. All these things that we learn as a mom that we think when we go out into the business world, I don't have anything to offer. I don't have skills. And you do. You do. And so I wanted to point that out. And second, you know, thanks for sharing that everything wasn't smooth. You know, I like you, there's a lot of coaches out there, and you find the coach that speaks to you and that resonates with you. And they're, you know, entrepreneurs, what I found, and the reason I do leadership as well as public speaking is there are a lot of people that have great messages, great stories, great skills, and they don't know how to get on camera. They're just really self-conscious about it. And so, you know, that's where you and I come into play, and to just get them to just have conversations. You know, you don't prepare for a dinner meeting at the dinner table to talk with your friends and family. Or if you go out to dinner, you don't take a script or a PowerPoint. And so that's, you know, what we need to, the message we need to get out to all you out there is that if you just treat it as a conversation, you'll be authentic, you'll be real, and you'll really touch people's hearts.
Absolutely.
So what's the biggest things you've learned, though, as you have been building your business over these years?
Oh, that is a great question. I have learned, okay, so one of the biggest things I learned is work-life balance doesn't resonate with me.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. And because it's perfectionism, and I learned how to release perfectionism. When
Yay.
when I was a stay-at-home mom, everything was always had to be perfect. Their birthday parties, I would stay up and make make everything myself. And I made her a castle cake and when I went into entrepreneurship, I learned, and it was a hard lesson to learn, that one, perfectionism doesn't exist. You can't be perfect. Otherwise, you'll never move forward inside of your
That's
business.
right.
And people don't like perfect. Perfect is
Yeah.
boring. People like your quirks. They like what makes you different. Just like you said, Vicki, like we're not here, you sharing our story. I don't need to resonate with everybody, right? I just want to resonate with the people that want the help that I can provide. And if
Mhm.
I'm not your person, that's okay. I will help you find your person if that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration and connection. And there's plenty of people in the world that are available for us to help. I don't need to help everybody, and I can't
Yeah.
help everybody.
Yeah,
So
you can.
I learned that. I learned lone wolfing doesn't work.
No.
Because especially in leadership, you'll learn, like, that's one of the first things. Are you a lone wolfer? I was a lone wolfer. And the reason I was a lone wolfer is I grew up extremely shy, and I was scared to be seen. And that's why now I have the podcast. And that was that I released perfectionism with that. I had a specific date I wanted to launch by. The title was not resonating with me that I had come up with. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? I said to my producer, I said, I'm releasing this. It'll happen when it's going to happen. I need to be aligned with the name of it.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to launch by the end of 2023. Yeah, because we're in 2024. No, I wanted to
Mhm.
launch by the end of 2022. And I think no, end of 2023, because we've been 2022. We've launched in April of 2023. So I really released that deadline. And the reason was I was like, I'm not aligned. And I learned how that I'm not going to do anything anymore without feeling aligned to it. That
Yeah.
was another thing I learned, because why fight something? Everything happens for us, not to us.
Mhm.
And if we allow that to just the space for it to show up, it'll happen as it should. Right around New Year's of 2020, moving into 2023, I woke up, I was in New York with my kids and my family. We traveled to take them, to enjoy the new year there. And I woke up in the hotel room and I said, be she, be seen, be heard, be empowered. I'm like, that's my podcast. And I allowed this space. And so that's another thing I've learned with that. I've also learned that networking is really important, building connections and relationships. And that came from releasing the lone wolfing because of that fear of
Mhm.
being seen, right? So those are the things I'm sure there's some other things I've learned, but that was, I replaced work-life balance with work-life grace. That was one of the things
Yeah.
I've learned, because I'm like, as work-life balance with that title. And I hear so many coaches out there saying, create work-life balance. And I'm like, I tried for a long time.
Yeah.
Vicki, I tried. And I'm like, I didn't understand. I kept feeling bad about myself. I'm like, how
Yeah.
come all these other people have it and I don't? And I thought there was something wrong with me. And I'm like, you know what? No, there's no way to hold this scale level all the time. I'm like, I'm
No.
striving for perfect, and perfect doesn't exist. And I'm beating myself up about it when I can just release that. So now I call it work-life grace. And I say, sometimes my business is going to need more of me and be heavier on this side. And sometimes my kids are going to need more of me and need more on this side. Sometimes self-care is going to be priority.
Mhm.
And I get to figure out and navigate that and release the guilt around any of it.
Yeah. I think a couple of things to unpack there is, first of all, you have to listen. To be a great entrepreneur, I think you have to listen so much more to your body, to your, to your heart, to your gut, and shut out those that are, impacting your mindset negatively. And sometimes, as you said, that is your family, that is closest people to you, your best friends or whatnot. But you really know what's good for you, and that's where you should listen to. And there is no balance. It's funny, as you said, a lot of people say, oh, you got to achieve this. And I learned in my late 40s that it wasn't worth it anymore. Life was not fun. And really, my 50s were probably my most wonderful years so far. Although these are turning out pretty good, but I'm 66, they're 65 right now. But
Oh, you look
in the
amazing.
50s, I didn't care any longer. Like I had no desire. I was still doing project management. I had no desire to break the ceiling. It's like I'm 50 years old. I'm looking at what's happening in the future in terms of retirement, grandkids, and living a legacy some way, somehow. And
Mhm.
that did not entail working 90 hours for somebody and not being acknowledged for the things that I did or being even known. I was just a person working in a wheel. But um and I think that's whenever I started to know, just as you said, okay, my kids need me more now, I'm going to give it to them. Okay, my work needs more now, I'm going to do that. But and stop beating yourself up over it.
Yeah. And I have the conversations with my kids. Like last night was a long night. I took a nap during the day. I knew because yesterday I didn't feel 100% me. I felt off and I'm like, I get to rest when I needed to rest, but I knew last night was going to be a long night for an event I was in. So I just had the conversation with my kids. And then, this weekend, my son's like, can we do this? I'm like, absolutely. This weekend, we'll make plans to do this. So it's just a matter of having communication,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have kids at home and you're building a business, whether you have a partner or not, the communication is key. So everybody's supporting you and like it feels like a family business,
Yeah, for sure. And it's teaching your kids life lessons that will be very helpful for them. So you talked about being an introvert. I'm an introvert as well. So share how you overcame your fears.
Yes, I'm an introvert and it's surprising to people. They're like, well, you're an extrovert. I said, no, I'm not. I show up that way, but I need my time. Like I needed my nap. I needed my time to
Mm-hmm.
recharge. And when I walk into a room, especially a physical room with a lot of people, I'm also an empath. So I'm an introvert and an empath. So I need to learn how to release that energy and not take it on from other people.
Oh,
But also it's just like, I can only take it. I can walk in, I have my goal, how many people I want to connect with, and then I get to leave and retreat and go get my, take care of me. As far as being seen, when I first started my business, I couldn't go live. I couldn't press that button. So I was in my first coaching program that I joined, and the community was in a private Facebook group. And I saw people like crushing it. There was this one woman in there. She was their golden child, their testimonial. She was amazing. I love her to death. And her and I became friends, and she saw my struggles. She knew I was an introvert. She knew I was an empath, and she knew that it was challenging for me to be seen. So we were in the DMs and she said, I have a challenge for you. Will you accept it? And I'm thinking, sure. We became friendly. I'm like, what can she ask me to do? Right. She goes, great. I want you to go live in the group right now. And your topic is my breakdown to my breakthrough. Cause she knew I would full on breakdown. She knew it. And I was immediately, Vicki, my chest got tight.
oh
I
yeah.
started sweating. I started shaking and my throat started closing and I hardly could speak. And she's like, and I'm like, I don't know that I can do that. And she said, I will be there to support you, but I'm on the other side of the pond. It's after midnight here. She was in England. I'm in Florida. So she's like, but I'll be there, but you have to do it now. You get to do it now. So I said, okay. So I pressed the play button or the live button. And Vicki, this is probably, I wish I had a recording of it, but it's an archived group now. And it was the worst live stream you could ever imagine. I always tell everybody, you'll never be as bad as I was. Like, no matter how you show up your first time, it'll never be as bad as mine was. I shook. I was sweating. My throat was tight, so I couldn't always get the words out. I was not crying. I was bawling my eyes out. Like, ugly cry with the sniffles and all the things. My eyes started, my face was swelling. My eyes were puffy. And it was so emotionally charging that I started getting a migraine. A migraine was coming on as I was talking. So I hit the end button. She goes into the DM and I go back in and she's like, congratulations. That was great. I have another challenge for you. I'm like, well, it can't be as bad as that. Can't be worse than that. So she goes, I said, okay. She said, I want you to go live for the next 5 days. I said, good night. And I went to bed. The next morning I woke up and I was scared to open this group and see the comments. And because I was scared of ridicule, scared of rejection,
Yeah.
right? And so the comments were filled with love, filled with support, hundreds of comments thanking me. Some of people thanking me for showing up so vulnerably, because now they've been scared to go live. I thought everybody could go live but me. They were scared to go live. So now they were inspired to do it themselves, or they had been doing something, they had been playing small, letting something else in their business hold them back, another fear hold them back. And now they were inspired to take action on that fear that day. One of the coaches inside of the program did an impromptu training around my live stream, talking about the power of showing up vulnerably and how you can inspire others to take action.
So
That's
very
the
true.
biggest
So
thing
very
I've been
true.
through.
And, I've been coaching people and speaking for 21 years or 26 years, and it's over and over and over again. So you are not, all of you out there that are terrified of this, it's just doing it. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. You'll always be nervous. I mean, I'm always have that nervous, but how you use those nerves to bring power, to bring energy, and be authentic. I mean, that's just so important.
Yeah.
So you talked about being aligned with visibility. So how can we grow our brand and be more visible online?
There's many different ways. One is by going live. The reason I love going live and empowering my clients to go live, because that's one big fear, is you really get to show up and share your voice. And I think one of the biggest fears is speaking, right? Public speaking. And this is a form of public speaking. But going live allows people to connect with you, and connection is currency. So it allows people to see you for who you are. When I first I remember when the pandemic was going on, my kids were always in my live stream. My audience knew them. My clients knew them. They don't get to see them now as often. They knew my dogs. My dogs would be, you guys probably saw them if you're watching this behind me. They come and go, but people get to know who you are. They also get to know how you handle adversity. One time I was doing a challenge and my smoke detector went off for 8 minutes. 8 minutes. But because I had shown up so authentically, I said to them, I said, well, it's going off. And it was so high up in the ceiling, I couldn't get to it. I said, we have two choices. We could either hop off and come back on whenever this, or we could stay on it. They stayed with me, and it went off at about 8 minutes, at the 8 minute mark. But people get to know, like, and trust you by you showing up live like that. There's power in showing up live, because laugh at yourself, have fun with it. It's not going to be pretty. I still laugh at myself. I get nervous sometimes, right? And I can go live on a dime now, but that took a long time of practice. But also, it's, I laugh at myself, and I think the most stress I have now is coming up with my topic. What am I going to talk about today? But the fear of, are people going to like me? Are people going to reject me? That's always there. Like you said, though, Vicki, it's just a matter of how you channel that energy now and how it fuels you versus holds you back. Other ways of building your brand is going on podcasts like yours, Vicki, like this amazing show, like putting yourself out there. And I think, and that's another form of scary. It's every time you're being seen in a different way. Once you overcome the fear of going live, then then there's the fear of, maybe doing a presentation at your local Rotary or Chamber of Commerce, right? Or maybe it's, showing up for the first time on a podcast and working out those nerves. I still get nervous when I come on podcasts, even though I love them. It's because I don't know the person on the other side very well. Are they going to like me? Am I going to do service? Am I going to provide value and service to support them and their audience? Like, there's always those things that come up. But podcasts are great ways. Joining summits are great ways to build your brand. Really not lone wolfing it, like I said, using the power of other people's stages. Yes. Doing your own challenges, hosting your own summits. Like I said, getting on other people's summits, co-create live streams together, have your own private Facebook group where you're building community. Those are different ways to be visible and build brand. And every single one is scary in its own way, because again, you're being seen.
But people often say, well, I don't know how I can get leads or grow my audience. And it's like, the more you get out there and you talk about what you do and have conversations. I think the reason I love podcasting as a networking tool is that, sure, some of my guests might be nervous in the first 5 minutes, but as we just get in this conversation and they get comfortable, the magic happens.
Yeah.
And in other networkings where you have 5 minutes to give your pitch and not even sometimes 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, and I don't get to really know you or if you're a good fit for my audience. So to me, podcasting is the ideal way to network.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
And just like you said, sometimes you have a 2-minute window. You might be
Yeah.
at any time, and you need to be ready, right? That's one thing we learn as entrepreneurs is be ready, because you never know when somebody may call you forward and say, listen, here's the mic, 2 minutes. What's your pitch? When you're on podcasts and you're having these conversations and you're getting used to putting your call to action out there, you're going to be able to show up just like that. And you're going to nail those 2 minutes.
Yeah. And so my podcast is recorded, but my summits are live. I do them in this format, but it's live. So we have influences and impact from the audience that's watching it. And that's another skill to have. I'd love for you to share some keys of how you can be more productive in your business, because, most of the times it's me and the computer, right? Or you and the computer. And you may have a VA that's in another state, another country, but you're pretty much still all by yourself. And so you need to understand systems, I think. So talk about, how you are more productive in your business.
Well, I'm going to share something that's probably off the beaten path when it comes to this. But first thing, not off the beaten path, I live by my calendar. So my phone is my life. If it's not on my calendar, and I tell my team this, if it's not on my calendar and you ask me for something, if I don't send it to you within the next 2 to 5 minutes, it's gone. It's not happening. So you need to remind me again, because if it's not on my calendar, it's probably not going to happen. I put picking up my kids on my calendar. So there's no risk of a call coming in or somebody scheduling an interview on my podcast or anything like that. Plus the reminder goes off. So I don't get into work. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go pick up my children. So that's how detailed I am with my calendar. Another thing is that I learned this method from a mentor, and it's actually comes from a book by Mark Hoverson. You can get the book on Amazon. I get nothing from it, but I think it's a powerful exercise, and it's called the $1 Million Day, your $1 Million Day. And what it is, it's like writing down everything you procrastinating on. And it doesn't matter what it is, writing down everything you're procrastinating on in all areas of your life. Could be calling your grandmother, right? That's how detailed we're getting here. Could be, booking, streamlining your email system, whatever, or setting up your SMS campaign, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's cleaning out your pantry, right? Everything in your life that you're procrastinating on. If somebody was to give you $1 million to get it done in 24 hours, could you do it? Right? Could you do it? Chances are you would do the best you could to get it all done. Right. And some of the things aren't capable of being done in 24 hours, but the point is getting it started. Right. And then there's some things that you'd want to get done that you're like, no, I got enough out of that. I can cross that off the list, but at least it takes the weight off of you. When I did this recently, it shifted my family. Like, that's how powerful it was. My daughter, I was like, guys, today, this is what's happening. We are in focused mode here of decluttering all different aspects of our world. And she wanted to get a job. She got on the phone and called 6. I didn't push her. I'm like, if you want to get a job, you have to find out where they are, because I'm not driving you from place to place. She's 15. Not everybody hires at 15. So I said, you get to figure out what that looks like and how to find out, do your research. She called 60 places. Most entrepreneurs won't call 60 leads. She called 60 places and had 3 yeses for her to come in. Like, that's the power of this, really just getting organized. How many things are we searching for? How much time a day do we take looking in our junk drawer for pens or markers or whatever it is, versus taking an hour to organize it and knowing exactly where everything is, removing the clutter, and maybe it's the clothing in your closet. Like, I know this doesn't talk about business, but it affects your business. It truly affects your business, because a cluttered home is a cluttered mind. And when our mind is cluttered, that's what keeps us from being productive. I was more productive after doing that daily 1-day exercise, taking 1 day, than I had been in the months before leading up to this. And also another thing, your email. Like
Mhm.
that's technology clutter. How many emails are sitting in your inbox? If you take even 15 minutes a day to clean stuff out, you're going to start purging that and getting that down. Because when you open your email and you've got 3,000 emails sitting there, your brain is cluttered,
Yeah.
right?
It's
So
like
those are
walking
things.
into IKEA. It's like, oh,
Exactly. Right. And also one other thing I say is time blocking, really taking time of if you have like creating those 1 to 3 things a day that you really want to accomplish that day, and then making sure they're time blocked, but giving yourself extra time, because we tend to undervalue or underestimate how much time something's going to take. So give yourself added time on that and create some flex time in your schedule every week to complete the things that may have gotten pushed off when life shows up and happens for you. And you do
Mhm.
if I get a phone call from my kid's school, that's going to take me off a task, but I have flex time during the week where I can put that
Right.
in to complete it.
It's so funny. Before this podcast, I had about a half an hour time. And so I thought, I shared with you earlier that I had fallen, and so I sat in the chair and did a massage a little bit. But when I went downstairs, I had to put up something in my cupboard that has all of the containers. You know, that cupboard that has all
Yeah.
those containers in there.
Yeah.
And I looked at that container cupboard and I thought, I know my back is not great right now, but I could take the next 10 minutes and just start to do something. And in 10 minutes, I had totally organized that.
Yay, that's
So,
awesome.
and it makes you feel so good
So
after.
good.
And
It
you
makes you.
almost want to put out an email to everybody. You should come see my.
I totally agree. It's like and you get to be proud of yourself for it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And when you open your cupboard, you're going to
I was
smile.
like, oh,
Your energy's going to go up. Your vibration's going to go up. There's so much that happens when you open that cupboard.
yeah. I just imagine that when my daughter comes home, she's going to open up and it's just going to, you're going to hear that. Oh,
Yeah. The angels
anyway.
singing from
Yes,
above.
that's right. Makes you feel so good. It's funny that we were on the same wavelength there, though.
Mhm.
So we talked about self-sabotage, but it also is that limiting beliefs. And so how do you release your limiting beliefs? And I say the same thing. Being perfect is boring. And if y'all should just stop trying to be perfect, you are just more if you're not perfect, then it gives me permission for not being perfect.
Mhm.
And everybody's life is so much richer. So how do you release limiting beliefs and that perfectionism?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think too many women are striving to be perfect because we feel the judgment, right? We don't want to be judged by other women,
Mhm.
and I think we need to let that go. Like, let's stop judging each other. We're all living lives, and we're all doing the best we can in the moment. When it comes, and like you said, perfection keeps you stuck. It doesn't allow
Mhm.
you to take action because you won't take action until everything is perfect, and it's never
Mhm.
going to be.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a reason for you to think that it could be better, right? So action brings clarity. So if you're not taking action, you're not getting clearer on the direction you're going. It's
Mhm.
either going to tell you you're going in the right direction, or it's going to tell you, no, we get to pivot and go this way, right? But the more action you take, the clearer you're going to get and the faster you're going to get to where you want to go. When it comes to imposter, you asked me about
Limiting beliefs.
limiting beliefs. When it comes to limiting beliefs, I have them. I have negative self-talk all the time. I think we all do. No matter how much work we do to overcome them, it's going to show up, because especially when we're about to step out of our comfort zone again.
Yeah.
Who are you to do this? Who are you? Like, look at all these other people already doing it. They're so much better than you. I hear that. I hear that talk to myself all the time. If I put a call to action out there and there's crickets, okay, see, you're not good. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants your stuff, right? So what I do is I sit back and I go, I have a journal. I journal on it. And I also go, is this my belief? Or, I mean, is it actually true? Is it
Mhm.
really true that I'm not putting out good stuff? No, it's not true. I've been doing this a long time. I know what works and what doesn't work. And it's not true. It's maybe that there's a gap somewhere. And all I have to do is figure out where the gap is. Maybe I didn't promote it enough. Maybe I
Yeah.
promoted it one time and I'm expecting them all to come. And that doesn't happen. Just so you know, people, ladies, it doesn't
Doesn't happen.
happen. People need to hear it over and over and over again. And most likely people didn't see it. there's a lot of people on social media, especially. That's why it's really important you build an email list. If you don't not building an email list, please do that. You're going to get more conversions out of that. But that's how I'm like, is this really my belief? Is this really true, first of all? And then is this really my belief, or is this something that's stemming from something that happened years and years and years ago?
Yeah.
And I get to go backward and go, okay, I get to clear that. Like, talk to my little person, right? And say, you're good enough. You're great. Your life turned out amazing. And you're continuing to create this amazing life just by taking action. And yes, you're going to have these negative beliefs come up as you're growing and building, but that means you're willing to do it. You're willing to step out of your comfort zone. And instead of putting yourself down, celebrate yourself, because guess what? Most people aren't doing it.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, you shared so many great tips and information, and I'm sure there's people out there that want to know more and have more time to chat with you. I definitely will have you back on again so we can chat some more. But it is time now for me to share your contact information. So if you're just listening, you know the drill. You should run and grab a paper and pencil if you haven't done so already. The website is HeidiSchalk.com, HeidiSchalk.com. The Facebook is at Heidi Schalk Coaching. Instagram and LinkedIn is Heidi Schalk Coaching. And the last name is spelled S-C-H-A-L-K. Again,
Yes.
Heidi Schalk Coaching. I'm going to turn it over to Heidi to talk to you about what you can find on that website and the social media that she most likes to be on, so you can find her quickly.
Thank you. Yeah, on the website is HeidiSchalk.com. It looks like so it's going to be HeidiSchalk.com, but you can Google my name and it'll come up. You can we have a couple things that you can grab on there for free. If it supports you, we have a Cultivating Your Millionaire Mindset guide that's actually going to talk to you about overcoming fear, limiting beliefs, and imposter syndrome. So that's a great guide. It's an easy read. It's simple, but it's going to help you overcome all those fears that are holding you back. And that's free. It's a free, you can just grab it there. We also have a free goal setting and marketing strategy templates. So it's a robust template that we're giving you for free. And what it's going to do, it's going to walk you through your 10-year, 5-year, 1 year, and then monthly, reverse engineering your monthly goals backwards to really set you up for success. So there's no more of saying, oh, I'm setting this New Year's resolution or I'm setting this goal and not achieving it. We give you an easy template that really breaks everything down. And then included in that is your marketing strategy template, which is going to help you create your vision for your business for the year, create your top 3 goals for the year, and then break down the strategies that are going to help you accomplish those 3 goals for your year. You can grab those on the website.
Awesome. So again, you want to go to HeidiSchalk.com to get all those free things, and reach out to Heidi if you want to see if she can help you through her coaching. So Heidi, thank you again so much for being a great guest. I enjoyed so much our conversation, and I hope that folks will reach out to you to get some assistance to be more visible and grow as entrepreneurs. And
thank you, Vicki, so much for having me here. I've loved this conversation. I've enjoyed being with you, and it's been such a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you. And as always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling, and signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.